Hi everyone, today I want to carry on with construction using boxes. In this case, my theme for today I think is going to be looking at a sort of sketch of a sort of generic camera. So in this case I'm going to be drawing a construction box to begin with, and then I'm going to be looking at how I'm sort of going to add these sort of elliptical profiles which are going to sort of represent these sort of like cylindrical features. So let's get started. So I'm going to start by drawing the top face of the overall camera. Okay, sort of determine that's the sort of proportions of it generally, and again I'm going to draw my lines going straight down. Got to look at the depth of it now, so probably about here. Okay, and then let's draw that in. I'm not going to worry about drawing the inside for the moment. I'm going to start sort of parceling up some detail though. So this is sort of like a retro SLR design, so I'm going to sort of chamfer those corners off, which they often had nice profiles, sort of chamfered faces there. What I'm going to do after that is I'm going to sort of plot the position of where the cylindrical feature is going to go. So offset it slightly perhaps, so put a line in here. This is going to be my sort of location, if you will, for the center point of my cylindrical feature. And again, a couple of options here. I think I might sort of draw a sort of box which is going to sort of define the sort of position of where that circle is going to be. Okay, so I want to try and keep it as square as possible, obviously. And I think, as I've mentioned in the previous exercise, there's a number of ways to draw these ellipses. Okay, I'm going to give myself some points of reference. Okay, and then I'm going to sketch it in. So, okay, so I've got it sketched in like that. Carry on with those chamfers. This one here, just going to drop this down, so I won't really see that. And the same with this one here. Again, just sort of drop that down. Okay, you can see that the chamfer angle on that line is pretty much the same. So what else goes on? Well, obviously I've got a cylindrical protrusion here. You know, this is the lens itself, and a couple of ways that I could approach this. I could sort of try and extend this box feature, but I think in this case what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of look at my perspective direction, and I'm going to sort of draw a line, and that's going to sort of determine where my ellipse is. And again, in this case, the ellipse for the camera, I might slightly make it bigger, so I have this sort of look of a little bit more of a dynamic look. I mean, there's a couple of things that goes on with lenses on cameras. You know, am I going to have a big telephoto lens? Is it just a standard stock 35mm? Again, in this case, not worry too much about that. I'm just going to sketch in my second ellipse, create it there. Okay, and then I'll just extend that, and maybe I'll add some further detail afterwards. So I've got that feature in place. Okay, so the body of the camera now is generally sort of divided up. So again, what I'm going to do here is just going to sort of divide this section here, swap that across and go to here. And this sort of chamfer, let's actually put that in. Let's actually put that in situ now so we can see that, and I can follow that chamfer across there. Okay, now cameras generally tend to have a sort of protrusion which allows you to put the flash on. These old-fashioned ones do anyway. And again, in this case, I think this one's going to extend outwards from here, and maybe, you know, in line with that. And in this case, it's going to be another elliptical profile. So, sort of moving this along, I'm going to sort of create that secondary feature like that. Okay, and what's going to occur now is this is going to go straight up. Okay, this is a feature going straight up there. Again, it's going to go straight to there. This is going to carry on up here, and I'm going to slightly angle this one in. So I'm going to angle it in there. Okay, again, this one would be for here, but don't forget there's the inside, okay, that I'm looking at. So where this would go across here, that line, okay, would be the one where this is going in at an angle. So I'm using these sort of frames of reference. Okay, so pretty tricky shape to do these ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by sort of managing it by sketching in the back section like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to then create a line which is giving me this sort of angle offset here, which is going to be that section, and this is going to go down to here. Okay, I'm going to move this point here is going to connect to there, and this one in turn, right, so I've got to get it connected to the right one. So this is the outside one now, and again this should be in line. There's that point of reference there, and then again I can now join that feature up there. So I've got this section now sort of doing that. Now the actual sort of series of cylindrical shapes are on here again. You know, how many of them do I have? In this case, you know, at least I want to be able to sort of press a button so that I can take a picture. There's obviously a wind on feature, and there's also a ISO sort of meter. So the reality is this is probably around 3 cylindrical features, and normally they're sort of slightly side by side. Maybe they're sort of slightly offset like so. Then again we'll have the trigger feature here, and again, you know, where that's positioned, okay, is open for debate. So again, the elliptical profiles, keeping these consistent. So I could draw my line in here. I'm gonna move my piece of paper around so that I'm in the sort of alignment that I wish to be. I don't want these ellipses to fall away from the sort of perspective direction that I've got. So let's draw this first one in. Okay, and I'll draw the second one in, and then I'll draw the third one in. And these ones are going to have a slight offset. So again here, going to have a slight offset. Okay, it's a little bit messy. And this one's going to be different, I think, in that it's going to slightly be higher. Okay, so we've got that feature there. Okay. Right, so the lens itself, additionally, I probably want to show that this is slightly going in. Okay, again, this might angle in. I could draw a line here, just to sort of show you that this is sort of angling in. Probably want to add some sort of texture. What I'll probably do now, because I'm going to keep this fairly simple, is just get my pen towel, and let's just get this outlined, and we can have a look at this in basic form. Okay, and then maybe go back to my, in this case it's a big handy Bic biro. Okay, and then again, you know, just sort of establish some of these lines in a bit more depth. Okay, so we can actually begin to see what objects are connected. Okay, so this is this feature here. This is the mount for the actual thing that would obviously the flash mount there. Okay, and let's put that ellipse in. Okay, again, a couple of defining lines and looking at texture, of course. Okay, another elliptical profile here. This one may be sort of describing the fact that I've got some additional details. And this might be, for instance, the sort of step profile that allows you to sort of hold that and sort of turn it round. Okay, so there in essence is a basic makeup of a SLR camera.